exchange for Sorka's mana bar, just have Prio on mid, which gives Pyosik a lot more breathing room. And although last time that DRX played, they were really focusing on getting the solo laners ahead, right? The Jaces, the Zoes. In this scenario, I think they will play a lot more around Pyosik, so he needs to get fed. From that point of view, it does make sense. I feel like Zed is going to have a lot harder of a time to actually shove in Orianna consistently. But in terms of overall comp, if you fall behind with this composition, your damage is going to be really, really rough. Pyosik, if he doesn't get fed early, wouldn't mind a Moonstone, but that's probably not happening.
Yeah.
And, I'm not a huge fan of either of these two drafts. I feel like DRX is rather reliant on snowballing, and they get pretty roughly countered by magic resist.
Because, of course, Kingen's pretty tanky boy. They're not liking their chances, as Pyosik might actually be caught out of position here. Early smite does come in. Second one comes down there. There's the flick back as Pyosik waits for his pounce, gets over the wall, but the flash is there immediately. Dread comes over, threads some volleys through, and the kitty cat falls down. Well, Sulker's creating some problems here for Fly, but it looks like Fly is handling it pretty well. Just soaking the damage as Dread comes back. No, there is a flash onto Kingen. He utilizes it, get himself the shield as he's just wandering around in circles. Doesn't necessarily work as a sliced dice, and that is a dead bear. Has himself his Sorcerer's Shoes and a Blasting Wand, and Bang's moved up towards this top side, and they're going to get him a whole bunch.
Nice to snub on the top side as... Oh, yep. Kingen.
Kingen in a bit of trouble. Tries to ohm wreck his own turret. Love it. Now that does get him to safety, of course. Shelly going to have another charge here as the Weaver's Wall comes down, and King is just getting abused. He has to flash out. Bang flashes on top of him, though, and blast cones him back. Very unfortunate. It takes a long time for the bear to die, but he will be taken down in the end. I don't see this CS gap in the jungle moving too much, just based on the champions and how they can clear, as the Cloud will spawn. Pyosik not going to be able to take that one down as he hops over the wall. There's the flash out as Becca soaking a lot of damage with that Eclipse. He's going to keep himself alive for the moment, but this should be a Freaker easily jumping on top of this dragon and taking that one down. This is really good. We can't lay it on too thick, you know, because otherwise it'll feel like school. As there's a shockwave onto Sulker here towards the top side, as I'll hold my thought. Clockwork wind-up doing a bunch of work here as Fly just soaks the ulti like a beast, but Sulker's still going to go down as Dread's going to come through. Threaded volley avoided quite nicely here as Sulker. This is amazing, but not enough. Look, he was always going to die, but that was real cute. The blade wall's like around you, and it gets over wind wall, right? And blade wall's kind of like a wind wall, as I'm going to have to hold the thought. This is exactly what we were talking about. A lot of squishies, a lot of pick potential. Cathy and Rain coming down on top of Lehens, but he does make it out. A lot of buttons need to be pressed here as DRX is starting to come online. As you can see, the Drake circling the pit. Now Keen, decent frontline position right now, but Dread's at half health already. He smites himself back up to a decent number. Kingen, looking over towards the side here, takes down a ward. The flanking position's good for the bear as he's rumbling on in. The Drake's still participating in this one as it's a 1-for-1 already. Sulker and Bang already taken down. Dread off to the side, can't participate anymore. He's too low, and Kingen's a huge tank there in the front line, but 1v3 is not really what he wants as the rest of his team were focusing on the dragon. Not sure what that was about, Pyosik, but he pressed the button, went gold, and it looked really cool. As it's still 4v4, Kingen very low, Keen dashes on in, Bow dashes out, Lehens finds the knock-up as more people going golden. Keen, though, will fall down. Now Fly has to flash. The Cathy and Rain locks down the Orianna, and the Dragon's going to go down for the second one for DRX.
And this is the turn that DRX has shown us again and again and again, and this is why I'm going to say, I do think they're a good team, Atlas. I don't care what you say about that early.
I think they're good in fights like this. They're fantastic, I agree.
I wasn't actually trying to burn you. The key point there is like how well they set it up. Becca finds a really big flank. All of a sudden there's this Leona coming over the wall and might have found a turn here yet again, Atlas.
And another one of these DRX Barons comes through, Chronicler. As they lock down a mid-game fight, they turn it into a Baron, and now they have all of the tempo.
Well, and these really little micro things in the way they pressure them up in the early game, but then when it comes to mid-game, they just look clueless.
Yeah. And it's around that third Drake as well. Like, they never get to that soul. And look, they have in the past, but that's what it feels like. It feels like as soon as that third dragon spawns, that's when there's problems for Afrika. That's where they're happy feeting around a little bit too much. As Keen didn't want to take that spear if he wants to be the front line. Good vision here. Spots Becker out on the flank. There's already fair amount of spear damage as the Weaver's Wall goes down. Kingen inside the pit. That will guarantee the Drake for Afrika, and now they're just trying to get out. Kingen with that Turbo Chem tank trying to run on in there, but not able to actually do anything as there's the flash forward. Kyoshik gets flicked back. There's the good Zonyas this time around as he flashes out. Bit of a hula hoop, unfortunately for Fly, as the solar flare is fantastic, and in goes the bear once more. But Afrika still had some flash buttons left. And it looks spear's not quite landing, but the fact that DRX is so capable of fishing this non-committal CC makes things difficult for Afrika, right? They can't just mill about. As Kingen thinking about diving on in. That wasn't the ultimate though, as he gets flicked on back. He's real tanky as this bear right now, as the stopwatch going to be utilized and has to ulti to get himself out. So in the end, it's more the bear getting caught more than anything else. He's not going to die, but he's got some big old items and a stopwatch there to keep himself alive. Good sidestep there from Keen as the Weaver's Wall comes down. Looks like Afrika are going to try and burst this one. Bang gets into position. DRX now moving on over. Pyoshik getting through here, but no. It is going to be that Infernal Soul as Kingen dives on forward. Dread flashes out of the pit, and DRX, they can't get the initiation they're looking for. And Afrika can now do this all again with an Infernal Soul around the Baron.
And now it's an Infernal Drake for a team that might still have a hard time. Be careful there.
All right, Bao diving on in. Fly unfortunately targets a blast cone. That might have actually secured his death, but no, Shockwave comes in and he locks down the bear. It's Bang that grabs that kill, and now with no front line, DRX are going to still try and push forward, but this could be dicey. Red gets on over. This was really opportunistic from DRX to make sure that they caught them in rotation. So locking down 2 turrets, this Baron and will win the game. Well, we'll see whether they can actually do that as in goes Becca. Flicked back though as Dread looking for more of these volleys. Lahens with the quickness. Now looking for the advance. Finds 3. Shockwave is fantastic as Bang is going to start mopping up this fight. Fly takes down his opposite number there in the mid lane, and Afrika find a beautiful team fight.
And finally, Afrika... the trap cancelled. The Talia wall.
You see the question mark ping?
Oh, if you take damage, if you don't know, for any of the viewers who don't notice, your Talia will instantly gets cancelled, even if it's just an Italy trap. But
I feel like you're speaking out of some sad experience.
Oh yeah, I have. Yeah, that is a feels bad man if I've ever seen one. Generally also ends up with you getting killed. In this case, not the case. Military defense here.
Well, yeah, Kingen just diving on forward. Doesn't have his stone plate built up yet though, so he's just going to pop like a balloon. Bang gets another kill. There's the Shockwave, and Pyoshik's going to get pulled back. Didn't have his Zonyas available, and the Nexus is now going to go down. Afrika!
Combined with just the threat of an Orianna bow, saw them use that super well to pick up two subsequent objectives. So as a whole, super well played by Afrika. Yes, there were a lot of mistakes, but I feel like we've touched upon them enough within the games themselves. And most importantly, it's good to see Afrika finally actually win one of these, right? Because it feels like they've been in this exact situation so many times, and then they lose, and you're like, yeah, here we go again. And we kind of, it felt like that around that 20-25 minute mark.
And you can see just how much Afrika have been team fighting as well. Like everyone doing very similar damage numbers. It's not like you've got an out-of-control carry that's sort of popped off in this game. Pyoshik on the other side of the rift doing the most damage in the game, but just not actually able to make it damage that sticks, right?
Welcome back everybody for the last day of this week's series, and we are kicking off by DRX taking on Afrika Freaks. It was a rookie versus veteran ones, and today's analyst test will be joined by Subinhyun, Pitdori, and Kuro. It was a rematch of Afrika and DRX, which happened in the first week of the first round robin, and we saw a lot of target ban going over to Pyoshik. in the previous series, Pyosik had a pop-up game on the Kindred, and also, you know, we don't need more explanation about his Udyr as well, right? So DRX actually wanted to play around the bottom lane, which was actually countered by Lihans on that recon. Africa being one, Renekton, and we were able to see that they were planning to go around this top side pick, so DRX was forced to take that Nidalee away from Africa Fricks. So there were Lilia and Talia opened up for these mage jungle picks, and Talia got nerfed a lot, and Lilia does not have a good synergy with Renekton, so Dread decided to play Renekton paired up with Talia paired up with Renekton. But still, we saw the problems of the Africa Fricks heading over to mid and late game, and we could see the power of DRX coming back after playing from behind. But still, Africa Fricks was able to get ahead in the very beginning of the game. So we want to analyze those setup and plays coming out from Africa. These days, the jungle meta is about scaling, but Dread this time around made a very aggressive move. So we can say DRX had no heads up for this play. So Talia got rid of the ward, and it was spotted that Talia actually rotated towards the right-hand side of the map. But maybe DRX players were not paying enough attention when the vision was getting turned off. So I guess DRX assumed that Talia would have just rotated down to her side of the jungle and cleared the Gromp and Wolfscan, but Dread was also actually hiding in that brush, and he was able to pick up the kill and also seal away that camp. It was really important because DRX was able to double scuttle. So this could have been a very unstoppable game coming out from Nidalee, but Dread was able to shut her down before the game got out of their control. And that kind of play is actually pretty risky. You know, if Talia gets to get no effort or profit over there, this would actually accelerate the scale coming out from Nidalee, but that plan actually went cleanly for the side of Africa Fricks. So it was a very nice setup coming out from Dread and also together with Kiin. So speaking of the synergy coming out from Dread and Kiin, let's take a look at the second highlight. Africa Fricks, Kiin and Dread actually has one of the top jungle proximity in the first round robin, and I think Kiin is slowly ramping up towards the end of the split. So because Nidalee died, Volibear couldn't stand in the lane, so he had to reset. So Renekton creates a huge minion wave, and also he tries to burn as many CS minions as possible. So with this huge minion wave created, Africa Fricks was in a very good spot in order to pull off that dive. And also, after Nidalee died, you can see that Kiin and King making an eye contact, and the level differential is huge. Volibear was so far away from hitting that level 6 mark, so Kiin goes in for a very aggressive trade, and also this means Africa Fricks can easily pull off a turret dive. Because Kiin made a lot of minion waves to get burned, well, King was lacking a lot of XP. So very clean turret dive coming out from Africa Fricks, and also it was really great to see that Africa Fricks was able to funnel all the gold into Kiin and that Renekton, but still we saw the problems of Africa Fricks that happens over and over and over. They always fall apart starting from the 20 or 25 minute mark of the game, but still this time around they made it to they did tidy it up, and they were able to close out the game. The player of the game will go over to Lihans and Recon. I actually took a lot of time to decide because I think Kiin did a fantastic work. But still, when Africa started to fall slightly apart, I think Lihans was the strong link that kept all the players online, and he was the most kind of influential player at the mid and late game. Moving on to the later phase of the game, actually everything went down to his initiation, and he created a really nice angle in order for his teammates to follow up. I think Shred also did a fantastic work, but there was this moment where he got caught out when he face-checked the Brush on the right-hand side of the mid lane. But still, we had some great performance coming out from the Africa players, and Dread was also doing a fantastic work as well. So Dread was one vote away from locking down the POG, but it's gonna be Luhan's for game number 1. In the first round robin, DRX picked up 2-1 victory, so let's check out whether we're gonna see the same result or whether Africa Fritz can get their revenge. And happy birthday to the Songcaster in the Korean commentators. Thank you!